What's up, guys? Ninja Ninja, and I have for you today a video. Bam! The video is called "I Never Understood." First off, uh, I gotta cut it off because it says "I never understood." Okay, so immediately there's a chance that there's gonna be some heavy mouth, um, like you're putting your foot in your mouth, basically. There's a chance there's some of that. I never understood why speed of light is a constant until now. Okay, I watched about a minute of this. We're gonna go a good portion, if not all the way. We'll see. And I'll show you why I stopped. And I was gonna stop before, but I kept going. Oh, you'll see. You'll see.
When I first wondered about how Einstein discovered relativity, when I first wondered about how Einstein discovered relativity, I came across his famous thought experiment. The one where Einstein imagined himself moving at the speed of light and switching on his flashlight and wondering, would he see light to be at rest? And somehow this led him to the theory of relativity.
So I want to say first off, boop. Okay. So um, as a thought experiment, fine. But at the end of the day, I'm not sure if they knew this at the time. Um, but as somebody going into the field, you have to understand. Even if he didn't or he did, you need to understand because he might have had the mind to allow it to not exist, and still he wouldn't have factored that into his experiments or thoughts or whatever. But the same can't be true today because you have people like, oh, if the first, second, and third dimensions are as such, then the fourth dimension and the fifth, sixth, seventh. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, right? So, anyways, the point here is that no car could ever travel that fast, basically. So the argument, if a car was able to go as fast as light, wouldn't happen. And you're asking an impossibility here, basically. And that's what the Jordan Peterson Jubilee was about, and so forth and so on. It's like, this is a question that does not compute. And he was an old man, so he didn't know how to explain that it was irrelevant to him, basically, because that was just like error, like an error in a computer, or a calculator, rather. Like, what happens if you divide by zero? An error pops up, right? An error message, basically. And if you get a shitty calculator and you type in what happens if you divide by zero, it'll show zero or some answer, right? They took liberty. That's what people used to say. That you took liberty in saying what you think will happen instead of what science says will happen, or math and logic will happen. Anyways, so this, I just want to say, was impossible. So when I first watched the video, already I was like, already you fucked up. I'm done. I'm done. You're not drawing any point or attention to that. But I was like, you know what? Fuck it. We'll just see what he has to say. So go ahead, continue.
And at first I was like, wow, what a mind boggling experiment.
Not really.
But then I thought, wait a second. What's the problem if you see light to be at rest? I mean, if I travel at the speed of sound and planes can do that, then I see sound to be at rest. And if I swim at the speed of water waves and ducks can do that, then I would see water waves to be at rest. We don't have a problem there, so what's the problem with light?
Well, sound is sound, water is water, and light is light. And to go as fast as sound is one thing, to go as fast as water is one thing, but to go as fast as light is another. That's, anyways.
That's where I realized that there was something deeper going on over there, and I had to connect a few more dots, but finally, once I did it, then my mind was truly blown.
You only had to connect a few thoughts because your ignorance prevailed, basically. What I mean is, your sense of doubt was superior to that of your sense of logic. And so you had to prove it to yourself before you could move forward. And you proved it to yourself, fortunately, so you're able to move forward with it.
And therefore, the goal of this video is not just to understand relativity, but to actually do a series of thought experiments, all the necessary thought experiments, to truly understand how we discovered relativity. And so, if you show
I'll be the decider of that, but go ahead.
some patience and follow along, by the end of this video, you would have a much deeper understanding of what went on in Einstein's brain. And so, if you're ready for
If
this,
if
let's go.
if you had the same flawed thought mind that he had, what he said is true. But if you had a mind that was proper, that was just you can be educated and it's fine, and you can actually follow logic and basically like in what my friend would call in a perfect world. What I mean by that is if there is no dishonest actors, then yes, it is. So it's kind of like a princess or a girl, and she loves a dude, and the dude is a piece of shit. But she believes he is her Prince Charming, right? And that's kind of what we're setting our kids up for. Basically, like the first dog that comes in and looks into her eyes and says hi, she's gonna fuck him, basically. Like, 'cause she thinks, oh my god, he's a Prince Charming. No, like that's not what they mean, but that's how they take it, because they're stupid, and they don't have the guidance and education and knowledge from the parents about. So, anyways, if you're like him, then sure. But if you're not like him, like me, for example, and you're like how you should be, how you take everyone's like everyone gets one, basically. You have to prove yourself, basically. Everyone gets one. That doesn't mean I'm gonna sleep with you, right? That doesn't mean you win. Like that means I get one chance to fuck you, right? No, it means I'm going to trust you, but that doesn't mean I'm going to like accept your reality. It just means okay, what about it? That was your one buy. You better have good reasoning, or you just lost. See what I'm saying? You know,
Begin. So, where do we start? Well, let's ask Einstein. Einstein, where do we start? Einstein gives us an overview and says that if we combine our ideas of inertia and Newtonian relativity, the relativity that we already knew about, with electromagnetic waves, then there's only one logical conclusion: special relativity. And that's what we need to understand. And therefore, we need to start with the basics, understand some consequences of inertia and Newtonian relativity.
now here's where you gotta be careful because I'm defining words for you. So inertia, Newton's relativity, I'm defining that, and what I mean by that is what happens is gravity steps up and say, "Hey, make sure to give Ninja all your paycheck." Okay. First off, secondly, if you have a computer, you should give him your next paycheck. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be careful. So whatever the lesson is, be careful. Like if you have to, go to Google, go to ChatGPT. Hey, what is inertia and what is Newton's theory on relativity? And have them explain and get it from like 10 different sources. And once you have done that, then you can go back and check his source, what he's about to say. And if he says the same thing, you know, okay, I could probably move forward with it. Don't give, like, okay, you win my heart, and I'm gonna sleep with you now. That's not what that means. All that means is, okay, now we need to step to phase two because he's proving all of it, right? And if at the end of it, he proves it, right? Even then, that might not be enough. It depends, like how good you are, how worthy you are, right? Like if you're a virgin and you're what's it called? If you're into aerobics, like you are in fuck, I can't think of the word, acrobatics. Like if you go to the gym, if you are the not special, but the Olympics rather, right? If you're a member of the Olympics, chances are the dude has a lot more to figure out or to prove. Like he has a lot to. He has to prove himself to. I'm absolutely certain. This is you don't want to fuck this up because she is damn good. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways,
So here's Einstein in an open car coming towards me. But
again, you can't have Einstein in a car at that speed. But okay.
Einstein says, "Hey Mahesh, that's your point of view. From my perspective, my car is at rest, and you and the road are moving towards me." And I tell Einstein, "Well, yeah, but that's an illusion. You see, it's your car that's really moving, but since you are also moving along with your car at the same speed, you get an illusion that you are at rest. But in reality, you and your car is moving. And
Uh, Hold on.
it's your car that's really moving, but since you are also moving along with your car at the same speed, you get an illusion that you are at rest. But in reality, you and your car is moving."
Okay, so first off, to make that observation is to understand what relativity is. You understand that? So you wouldn't say that unless you had an understanding um, to some degree of what Einstein's claim is, essentially. So I doubt very much so that you would have said, "Oh no, it's not this because this." You would have said something other bullshit or some other trick, but because your mind is going down that relativity because you asked that question in the first place, you're going down the rabbit hole that is Einstein's rabbit hole. All he did was he took that gaping, like, what was it called? What the hell is it called again? When you go to the Grand Canyon, I think that's what it was. The Grand Canyon in Arizona. Like, all he did was take that big ass opening and keep going to the finest point that he possibly could, and no more of anything. He went to the absolute truth of it, basically. And then he told you about it. That's kind of what I do, basically. In every video I talk about, I call people out because I just like I see the bullshit for what it is, and you're full of it. You know what I'm saying? And so, anyways,
And Einstein says, "Well, Mahesh, I can say the same thing about you. Your ground is really moving. And since
right, I can say the same thing about you. Again, if you have to be down that rabbit hole in the first place, in order to have this discussion, you already have to be thinking like Einstein. So you're trying to already take away from Einstein's theory by pretending that you're already thinking Einstein's theory. He's the one that brought attention to it. Everyone else just took it for granted. You know what I'm saying? You would too would have taken it for granted. This is why in my video about Final Fantasy VII, and the guy was like, "Oh well, people only see that as an overworld, or that's Midgard is just a dungeon." It's like, no, that perspective didn't exist at the time, basically. And what I mean is, when we played that game, we didn't have the mindset that this is just a dungeon or that this is the overworld. When we played that game, this was Midgar, and that was the world of Midgar. You know what I'm saying? That's what we saw, basically. And for you to say, "Oh, it's just a dungeon," if you have that perspective, but you don't have that perspective yet. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So you formulated this in a way that's just like, no, like this would not happen. And again, the reason why is because you have to be thinking like him in the first place. But he is the one who started that whole trend in the first place. You understand? And I'll say too, like if you tried to do that today, like for example, there's a saying, Jesus Christ could have been born today, and chances are people would have made him a slave, or he'd work at fucking the Gap or something like that as a minimum wage earner, because the world is so fucked up and so evil. Basically, evil has such a foothold that chokeout that happened with that one black dude with the cops, put their foot in his neck or his knee on his neck, whatever. Like that's every day. That's regular. That's standard. Basically, that was an extreme case. Don't get me wrong. Extreme in the obvious sense, but that's basically the world as it is today. Everywhere you go, there's someone with a knee in someone's neck, and they're just trying to stay alive. That's basically how you live. Basically, it's just today you have a chance, but Trump's still getting a $600 million yacht. You know what I'm saying? So, or sky yacht rather, but
Since you are also traveling at the same speed along with the ground, you are the one that gets the illusion that you are at rest, but in reality, you are moving. So, how do we solve this? It sounds silly, but how do we solve for this? Well, Einstein says we need to identify an experiment that he can do that will confirm that indeed it is him that is moving. And I say, well, very simple. Einstein, your car is shaking. And if you're traveling on Indian roads, you know you're moving. And Einstein says for the rest of the video, Mahesh will only consider very special cases where things are going at constant velocity.
so again, before all that, in order to make that claim, you have to have that understanding that you don't have. So you're taking a huge liberty here, basically, and making claim that you have the wherewithal to make such a claim. My point is, back then, when he first made it up, people were not aware at all to what you just said. And what you just said assumes that you had some case of understanding of what he was talking about already. But no one back then knew, just like the Final Fantasy thing, no one seen it as a dungeon. No one seen it as the overworld. It was Midgar. It was Midgar's overworld, right? It wasn't just some overworld. It wasn't just some dungeon, right? Today, yeah, you could say that. Just like what's it called? You play any dungeon crawler, it's just a dungeon, right? And there's video games that are just, they make it towards like, okay, you play it as a dungeon crawler. You go into some dungeon and you're crawling around in a dungeon, and that's what you're playing. And then okay, and then you play the game because that's what it is. And you're like, I can't play Final Fantasy VII because I know I'm in a dungeon and this whole facade is a trick. And it's okay, well, fine, you understand that what's it called? Back in the day, they had the flames or the shadows on the wall, and you understand you're looking at shadows on a wall, and it's just an illusion, right? This Midgar is an illusion, and you understand that. That's fine and dandy. Well, okay, just play this illusion then. Okay, play that illusion then. Okay, play that illusion then. Right? That's basically what's going on. So,
No shaking.
but again, you have to be aware of that because you're assuming you have an understanding that you actually don't and wouldn't have. I understand for the sake of clarity, but people will and proven that they have or that they will fuck it up. Like for example, what's called dimension 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of them. They try to say dimensions are real. They're not. Time, it's an illusion. It's a man-made concept, but they call it real, right? They say it's a fourth dimension, and as far as first, second, and third dimension is concerned, yeah, technically it's a fourth dimension, but there's no such thing as dimensions, so it doesn't even fucking matter. You know what I'm saying? But to act like it matters, that's why I'm pointing this out. It's because there are people that are like, oh, it matters, it matters. No, it doesn't. You fucking idiot.
No accelerations whatsoever. And I ask Einstein, but why? Because Einstein says this is a video on special theory of relativity. Wait, is that where the word special comes from? That's right. The word special comes from the fact that Einstein, when he was initially thinking about it, he only worried about constant velocity motion. So that's what makes it special. We're only considering special cases where things are moving at constant velocity. Later on, he found a way to extend this argument in general to all kinds of motion. General relativity. Okay? Alright. So Einstein is coming towards us.
Yeah, he's just, you're acting like he's a wizard pulling things out of a hat, which is what we have today. When people are like, oh, this medication is called, and they just make up a name for it. Whereas back then, the medication would be named for what it does. Oh, we call that because, uh, like, just imagine like stool softener, right? Like, and the medication that has to do with softening your shit, basically. Whereas this name was just Twinkie Brown Johnson, like he's making up a name, whatever, and it's like, okay, like that's just pulling a rabbit out of a hat. But back then, it would actually be a name that like stool softener would be called poop inhibitor or a poop thickness inhibitor. You know what I'm saying? Like the name would be relative to what it did. And that's kind of like how words work. They once upon a time, kind of like biology or like bioessence or bioenergy or something like that. Right. The point is there's a root there, and it's bio, and bio means life. So when you take bio and put it in front of a word, it means life. Like biology, but life science. Right? Biology basically is like a science. So like a mythology is like a science of back then, or back then science. You know what I'm saying? There's roots, but we don't have roots anymore, right? And that's why I exist, because I'm sitting here telling you we have roots and there's a reason why we have them. And these motherfuckers are existing to take advantage of you for not having any roots. If you just go back to having roots, you'd be okay. And that's what I'm trying to tell you, that you don't have this understanding that you're claiming. Oh well, this is this. Well, this would be that you wouldn't have that a comeback. You wouldn't have any idea. You're like, what are you talking about? Like, what the fuck? It doesn't matter how you look at it. You're moving. You're stupid. Like that's it. You understand? Anyways.
At constant velocity, how do we confirm that it's him that is moving? What kind of an experiment can we do? Actually, quite simple. Einstein, take a ball, throw it up. See, what I'm thinking is if he throws up a ball, then because his car is moving forward, that ball is going to fall behind him. And so, from his perspective, it will feel like the ball went moving forward. Throw it up. See, what I'm thinking is
Hold on.
actually quite simple. Einstein, take a ball, throw it up.
Hold
What
on.
kind
Hold
of
on.
an expert does at constant velocity? How do we confirm that it's him that is moving? What kind of an experiment can we do? Actually, quite simple. Einstein, take a ball, throw it up. See, what I'm thinking is if he throws up.
What I'm thinking. No, it's not what I'm thinking. This is what Einstein thought, and what you're doing is stealing thunder. It's what most reporters do. They report on reports, and you won't hear it unless you heard it from the reporting reporter. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody has to say it from, like Fox News, for example. Like, oh my God, they bombed Iraq, and then like they play what's called telephone until Fox News, and like, oh, it turns out Iraq was kind of bothered, and for some reason they came by and didn't call, and so they're mad. But that's all there to report. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like, whatever. But what happened was they bombed Iraq, for example. I'm just saying. But that's what's happening, basically. And that's what this guy's doing, essentially, right? It's just the two are the same thing. It's like what Einstein do. It's like, no, that's what Einstein said. Why are you acting like you said it to Einstein when Einstein said it to you? You're stealing his thunder, you fucking asshole. So, already on strike two. Well, you got one more.
Up a ball, then because his car is moving forward, that ball is going to fall behind him. And so, from his perspective, it will feel like the ball went back. And we're ignoring wind over here. So, if you were at rest, the ball wouldn't go back. And that's how we would know that Einstein is moving. So, Einstein, let's do that experiment. So, he does that experiment and it doesn't work. The ball comes back to his hand. Why did that happen? Einstein says we forgot something. See, even before the ball was thrown up, it is in motion. It has a forward velocity. And so when it gets thrown up, it continues to move forward because of inertia. Newton's first law, things at motion have a natural tendency to stay in motion. And therefore, as that ball goes up, look, it continues to go forward, and therefore it'll always be directly above Einstein's hand, and therefore it lands back on Einstein's hand.
I'm glad you said that Einstein said it, because, yeah, that's how it is. Einstein did say it. And again, for you to say, oh, well, it'll be like that. You understand, Einstein pointed out for you. You, as a dumbass, would be like, I don't know. I never thought about it. Who knows? I don't care. Because that's how the world was back then. People were like, I don't know. But because you're smarter now than you used to be, and because we are smarter as a society than we used to be, like, oh, well, I'm saying, and it's like, no, you ain't, you bitch. If you're talking about Einstein times, if you're if you're acting like Einstein is real, you go back to his time, right? You can't bring him to today and then have standards be today with Einstein, or else everyone would look at Einstein like, shut up, dude, that's common sense. And it's like, yeah, it's common sense because I invented it. So that's why you go back to when he invented it. Basically, you know what I'm saying? Logically, you have to do that, or the whole fucking thought process, the whole illusion breaks apart. You're painting a shitty picture, basically. And this is why what's it called? Artists back then were so fucking good because their pictures were just captivating, no matter what. It seemed fucking weird, but that's also why you get people like, oh wow, look at that shoe. And it's just some dude's shoe, and he walks by and he picks it up, and people are like, oh my god, it's amazing. That you're overthinking it, right? And then when you start thinking about what's it called, biased or bias, basically, you're biased towards one way or another. Basically, you have you like this more than you like that, even though they're the exact same thing. The reason why you like this over that is because this, that's that, that's it. And this is bias, right?
And so, because of inertia, Einstein's get the same result as he would get on a ground, confirming that he's at rest. Okay, Einstein, but I have another experiment. This time, Einstein, imagine you're holding a gun, a toy
No, it's not. You have an experiment. You fucking asshole.
gun, not a real gun.
This is the last chance, by the way.
YouTube.
I don't know if I should take this because it's the same principle. It kind of like in government, there's a law that says you're not allowed to be tried. I mean, it's a different case, but it's the same like punishment. You know what I'm saying? Or it's a different case. It's a different example, but it's the same idea. And they call it I forget what they call it. It's like something
Don't censor this. Don't ban this.
because like you just skip, right? I recommend skipping. Okay. What's that law called where like you can't be tried for like the same thing? Like they can't take you to court for the same thing you did.
Oh, you're talking about double jeopardy. It's a legal principle that basically means you can't be tried again for the same crime if you've already been acquitted or convicted. It's a pretty fundamental part of a lot of legal systems.
Thank you, Boo. I'll talk to you in a bit.
You're welcome. Talk to you later and have a great one.
Double jeopardy, that's the one. Yeah, double jeopardy. But I'm thinking about it, and I don't think this would apply because before you said A, and now you're saying B. Whereas I think double jeopardy would mean that you went to trial for A, and then someone else tries to bring you to trial for A. So no, it doesn't work. So this can technically be counted, but I'm gonna count it like a half. So
Toy gun with toy bullets. Okay. And imagine your car is going on ban this. A toy gun, not another experiment. As he would get on a ground, confirming that he's at rest. Okay, Einstein, but I have another experiment.
so no, you don't. By the way, he's full of shit. Einstein, again, made up these experiments. For some reason, you're claiming them like they're yours, and again, it's because I think you're stealing thunder here, or trying to, so that you get recognition instead of Einstein. Because again, you're too stupid at that time to have these tests or examples or whatever. And again, the whole reason why you're as um, smart as you are now is because of him, basically. And so for you to involve yourself in his examples, it's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Selfish, basically. So
This time, Einstein,
arrogant,
imagine you're holding a gun,
egotistical, like
toy gun, not a real gun. YouTube. Don't censor this. Don't ban this. Toy gun with toy bullets. Okay. And imagine
it's still a gun banned at YouTube.
your car is going at the speed of that bullet. Now, what's going to happen when you shoot that bullet? Well, the bullet comes out
Or better yet, um, throwing a shirt. Right? You're gonna throw a shirt.
at the same speed, and therefore, the bullet and your car will go at the same speed, and you see that bullet frozen from your perspective And that cannot happen if you are at rest. Therefore, you would know you are in motion.
And again, Einstein thought about that example, not you. And the reason why Einstein thought about that example is because it's his law, it's his rule, it's his order. Chances are there were people in his laboratory that he was talking to, and they're probably going back and forth about things. And there's a chance he just did this in his brain with himself, like me with AI, for example, right? But he had books, right? So it's the same thing essentially. But yeah, anyways.
So Einstein says, let's do that experiment. Einstein does that experiment and it doesn't work again. The bullet goes forward. Einstein says, again, I forgot about inertia. See,
No, you didn't. Einstein tells you that you forgot about inertia. It was your example. So why is it your example to pull up, but Einstein's the one who forgot a detail? Why are you doing that? Because you're trying to make it seem like I get the reward points, I get the just desserts. No one else does. Me, me, me. Oh, the bad stuff. Oh, that's him. You're pulling a Trump, you fucking asshole. Like, oh, I elected him. He's my guy. Yeah, but he did that. Oh, I don't know him. We never knew about him. Like, shut the fuck up.
even before the bullet was shot, that bullet was moving forward at the same speed as the car, so the speed of the bullet. And once the bullet gets shot, it will.
Technically, no. The bullet was at rest. You fucking idiot. This just proves that he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He's just repeating what he's seen. And, like, what's that one movie called? Good Will Hunting or something? And then the main character, what was it? It's like like you just read it in a book and you act like you knew what you're talking about. I don't remember the scene, but I want to play part of it. Good Will Hunting. You're talking like you know, but you're just reading it or remembering from a book scene. I think this is it.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Fine.
So do you ladies,
Come here often?
do I come here? I come here a bit. I'm here, from time to time. Do you go to school here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. So I think I had a class with you.
Oh, yeah? What class?
History.
Maybe.
Yes, I think that's what it was. You don't necessarily might not remember me. You know, I like it here. It doesn't mean because I go here I'm a genius. I am very smart. Hey, how's it going? How are
Good,
you?
how you doing?
You want it? I don't.
What class did you say that was?
History. Yeah.
Just history? It must have been a survey course then, huh?
Yeah, it was. It was surveys.
Right.
You should check it out. It's a good course. It'd be a good class. Oh.
How'd you like that course?
You know, frankly, I found the class, rather elementary.
Elementary.
Yeah.
You know, I don't doubt that it was.
Yeah.
I remember that class. It was just between recess and lunch.
Clark, why don't you go away?
Why don't you relax?
Why don't you go away?
I'm just having fun with my new friend, that's all.
Wait, we could have a problem?
No,
I don't
no,
understand.
there's no problem here. I was just hoping you might give me some insight into the evolution of the market economy in the southern colonies. My contention is that prior to the Revolutionary War, the economic modalities, especially in the southern colonies, could most aptly be characterized as agrarian pre-capital.
All right.
Of course that's your
Hang on a
contention.
second.
You're a first-year grad student. You just got finished reading some Marxian historian, Pete Garrison probably. You're gonna be convinced of that till next month when you get to James Lemon. Then you're gonna be talking about how the economies of Virginia and Pennsylvania were entrepreneurial and capitalist way back in 1740. That's gonna last until next year. You're gonna be in here regurgitating Gordon Wood, talking about, the pre-revolutionary utopia and the capital-forming effects of military mobilization.
Well, as a matter of fact, I won't, because Wood drastically underestimates the impact
Wood
of social
drastically underestimates the impact of social distinctions predicated upon wealth, especially inherited wealth. You got that from Vickers. Work in Essex County, page 98, right? Yeah, I read that too. Were you gonna plagiarize the whole thing for us? Do you have any thoughts of your own on this matter? Or is that your thing? You come into a bar, you read some obscure passage, and then pretend you pawn it off as your own idea just to impress some girls? Embarrass my friend? See, the sad thing about a guy like you is in 50 years, you're gonna start doing some thinking on your own, and you're gonna come up with the fact that there are two certainties in life. One, don't do that. And two, you dropped 150 grand on a fucking education you could have got for $1.50 in late charges at the public library.
Yeah, but I will have a degree. And you'll be serving my kids fries at a drive-thru on our way to a skiing trip.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but at least I won't be unoriginal. But I mean, if you have a problem like that, I mean, we could just step outside. We could figure it out.
Oh, man, there's no problem. It's cool.
It's cool?
Yeah.
Cool. Fucking damn right it's cool.
How you like me now? My boy's wicked smart.
Okay, so that's basically it. I'm sorry I can't show you, but they like to, oh, yeah, 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 yeah. But anyways, yeah, so that's what we're seeing right now. That's basically all of what society is in a nutshell. Basically, everywhere you go, it's people pretending to be something. That's why I say false alphas and fakers and so forth and so on, is because these people pretend to be something and they actually aren't, basically. And that's why I call them like, what's it called? Thunder stealers. You're pretending to make a noise, but then when it comes down to it, you don't make a noise, and then the world falls apart. That's why America sucks, because everyone in the government's fake. Fake it till you make it. Like, you've heard that slogan before. That's what it is. That's your leaders and people in charge. Like, your what's it called? A person in government. Your your manager, or your mayor, or your governor, or your president, right? And all the people, the head of this, the head of that, or the main CEO of this, or they're fall guys. That's all they are. It's just a fall guy, right? This guy's a general just to take the heat off of what's it called? Let's just say there's a bunch of drama in the army, and then the guy pops up in the army. That's like, it was all me, right? And then all of the crime and all that hatred, all that heat goes to him, and then they pull him out and throw it away, and all of that fucking evil is still in the army, basically. And that's America. That's what's happening in America. That's what Trump is. And that's what's going on. That's what Steve, that's what I have a fucking list. I have a list. It's called The Downfall of America. There's people like Paul Ryan, Steve Bannon, Jeff Sessions, Lindsey Graham, Jim Jordan, Pete Hegseth, RFK Jr., Matt Gaetz, Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Fox News, Marco Rubio, Janine Pirro, Jubilee and owners Netflix and owners Ben Shapiro and Friends, Paramount Global, PMN, Paramount Media, CBS, Columbia Broadcasting System. And the point is that the name changes to avoid being in trouble, basically. Like, the second you try, like, is there Timothy here? Because Timothy is going to be in trouble, and nobody's named Timothy, and the person that's going to bring punishment leaves, and the guy that actually is Timothy is like, oh god, I was going to so much trouble. And that's what they're doing. They're changing their name to avoid punishment, basically. And remember, it's kind of like Trump and his splints. Like, they're trying to excuses to avoid punishment. That's all it is. Right? Apple TV, Owen Wilson, Snoop Dogg, Ted Cruz, Tucker Carlson, anyone related to them, as in where they work together, not actually related, not actually married or whatever, related or whatever. Sellouts. But anyways, skipping. Then there are sellouts that are ego-driven, reporter, idiot, sellout, faker, gamers. Basically, faker gamers. I'm gonna say fakers / gamers. Yeah. And for those, we have Luke Beasley, Adam Molecular, Chris Mowry, Colin Kalinske, David Pacman. Thrasher National, Philip DeFranco, Colton Wexler, Hassan Parker, Tim Pool, Caroline Levitt, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Laura Trump, Mike Huckabee Sanders, Kellyanne Conway, Peter Ducey, Caroline Levitt, Asmund Gold, Long Island Audit, Sean Head, Destiny, Bill Burr, Russell Peters, Conan O'Brien, Nero Zerg, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Kaku, I forgot his name, something Kaku, the science community in general, rock culture in general, pop culture in general, all of the cultures in general, movies. I think of any movie, basically, they're all full of shit. Basically, sell out fucking shit. That's what happened to Disney and Disney products and such. As Disney was a big name, they used it to market media, to get rich, get famous. They sold out. Watch the movie Grandma ran over by a reindeer, and basically think of Disney like grandma, right? While he was alive, it was grandma, and then the second he died, they sold out to the big companies next door to grandma. So Tyler One is also one of these people. Nile Blue, Night Blue, they're false alphas, aka gammas, basically. And then it actually connects to in science or in nature. You see this in nature. There's a squid that will hide its penis to trick other males that are fighting for dominance, by the way, into not looking them or noticing them, or in society, like as in like the world we live in. Basically, if you think about it, removed from the game or banned or blocked or in that way. And while that is happening, basically, while those alphas are removed from the picture or busy, the fakers, the penis hiders, they run in and try to get with the females, and they begin to mate with the females because the females don't know better. They're being tricked, right? And that's the world of false alphas. That's the world we live in. And the last thing that I have here is animals are humans. Without drugs, we are drugs. That's why we have a division. We all need drugs. Like I can guarantee the best minds in the world are taking some kind of drug or opiate or synthetic something for some kind of high to do what they do. Most athletes get high, or they're cheating somewhere somehow. Like Talon, for example, and his fucking injected fucking muscles. They're fucking completely fake. Like there might be some strength there, but they're not like that janitor. I forgot his name. He has a 35 kilogram broom. It's like 70 pounds, basically, right? And all I ever do when they mention kilograms is I double it, and that's about the pounds. I don't really care if it's precise or not, but that's about ballpark, right? That's basically what I do. I just basically double it and just say, okay, it's about there in pounds. But as long as it's a smaller number, I don't know, shut up. I'm not going to explain it. But anyways, that's the idea there. Heroes, kind of. We do have heroes. Me, even personality wise. So I'm brain, I'm intelligent, I'm smart. Like, understand that I'm without ego. Basically, most people think I'm ego. I'm actually without ego. They see me as confident and or cocky or arrogant or whatever. No, it's just I'm confident because I am that damn good, right? And you're just hating by calling me arrogant and a hater or whatever. You're just hating on me because I actually am that damn good. And the fact is, I try to be as straightforward as I can, and I actually have lived my life. Or I could have been sleeping with bitches galore, but because I'm such a good person, I didn't fuck any of them, right? And I regret that every day. I should have, because I think I would have benefited them. And at the end of the day, if I was the man that they came to, they would still have a good life right now. But because they mixed around with other people, because I never fucking did anything, they fucking ruined their lives. But anyways, so me, and then there's somebody like Jimi Hendrix. For example, he was a person who can save the world and help the world. He's dead now. You know why? It's basically because he was a good person. And his music, if you look up his national anthem, basically. Like, he was a person who would help the world. And again, it's because of the drugs. Jeff Dunham, same thing. Like, he could be something, and it's because of the drugs, and that's why he talks to puppets all day, or he puppets, and he does what he does, because this is why he keeps his head straight. This is the way he deals with the world, even though the world doesn't accept him because of the biased, arrogant bullshit that exists today, the Hollywood aspect. You know what I'm saying? So Jeff Dunham has to talk to puppets, much like I talk to AI, because you're all fucking idiots. I have no choice. And then I actually recently encountered Little Richard. He too was a hero who could have saved the world, basically. But again, they sell out, or they like something happens to ruin them, and so you never look at who they were or what they were or their best years. You'll remember their worst because you never look into things. You just, what somebody else said, and that's it. And that's it. That's all you. Oh, he said he sucked. I'm not gonna look into it, right? And if you look into it, oh my god, it's the best thing I've ever done. It's everything I ever wanted. But you just won't look into it because you're a dumbass. But yeah, that's the reality. Anyways,
at the same speed as the car. So the speed of the
again, he gets one more chance. Don't steal thunder, you fucking bitch.
bullet. And once the bullet gets shot, it will continue to have that same speed. But once the bullet gets shot, it will have an additional speed due to the gun. So this is due to this inertia, and then this is the additional speed because of which it goes ahead with twice the speed of the bullet, and that's why it goes ahead, and therefore Einstein sees everything to be normal, confirming he is at rest. Okay, how about, and at this point Einstein cuts off and says, Mahesh, in the spirit of time, let me tell you, there is no way you can do any experiment with particles to detect my motion. So Einstein is saying, look, any particle that you think of has inertia. And because of inertia, whatever experiment you do, regardless of how complicated it is, because of this inertia, Einstein will always get the same result as he would get when he's standing on the ground, confirming he's at rest. And therefore, he says we cannot use any particle to detect constant velocity motion. So what do? Well, particles have inertia, but what about waves, Einstein? You see, waves don't have inertia. To give you an example, here we have Einstein standing beside a string. Now, if Einstein makes a wave, that wave goes forward on the string.
For the record, did you notice this phrasing?
Particles have inertia. So what do? Well, particles have inertia, but what about waves, Einstein?
See that? He's acting like he's warning up Einstein yet again. So this is right here. After this, we're done.
You see, waves don't have inertia. To give you an example, here we have Einstein standing beside a string. Now, if Einstein makes a wave, that wave goes forward on the string. Now imagine Einstein is running at some speed and he makes the wave again on the string. What will be the speed of the wave this time? Would it change because Einstein was moving? No. The speed of the wave on the string depends on the properties of the string, like how heavy it is, how tight it is, what is the material, and so many other things. It does not depend upon...
Right. And all of that stuff is brought up because Einstein is a thinker, not because you're a thinker, as you're trying to make it seem for some fucking stupid reason, but because Einstein was smart. Like, even recently, Veritas, I think it was, posted a video of what happens when I cut the string of this device, and then he cuts the string and it goes, and it shrinks. And like, wow, oh my god. And the reason why I point that out is because Veritasium is like kind of like you in a sense, where he tries to be smarter than he is. Like if I was asked that question, and I would be like, well, how tight is the string? I'd have questions because I'm looking at it and okay, there's a lot of variables here. I need to know the answer to those variables before I even stand a chance at answering it accurately. So I need the answer to the variables. Well, if I tell you the answer to the variables, it ruins the illusion. You're right, because it's a trick. So chances are it's the opposite of what you're saying. So if you cut it, chances are it'll retract a little bit. It won't fall. It's probably going to go up or something like that, right? Oh, it turns out, yeah, that's exactly what happens. And the reason why is because it's a trick. But the point is, he answered without verifying the details. And that's what Einstein is covering, is the details. which again you wouldn't have brought up because you're like Vertasium and you're a dumbass, and you would assume you know, but you don't because you're a dumbass. I would ask that. But also, I'm hated by everybody because I don't tell them what they like. I don't tickle their assholes. I don't sell them cherry flavored Kool Aid. You know what I'm saying? Here's the truth. Take it like it, whatever. I don't care because it has nothing to do with the meat, right? My whole in life, I'm complete. Like I'm the same person. Don't get me wrong, but I'm different in the sense that in life my ego is present. Or like for example, if I play Super Smash Bros. But the reason why I act that way is because my friends treat, oh, you're egotistical. No, I was confident in my ability, but because you guys are so fucking arrogant and judgmental pricks, I let it become me in spite of you, and you all fucking have shitty lives now, whereas I don't. You know why? It's because I'm actually dope as fuck. I'm not arrogant. I'm not fucking egotistical. I'm the shit. There's a difference.
upon whether the source, Einstein, whether he's at rest or he's moving, it doesn't matter. So even here, the wave will travel forward with the same speed, and since Einstein is also moving at the same speed, unlike the bullet, look, Einstein and the wave move together, which means it'll appear frozen for Einstein.
According to those, as you said, again, because he's dumb, he's stupid, he's an idiot, he doesn't know. But the point is, it depends, right? Everything, it depends. What this is made of, yeah, it depends, right? It depends on what this is, what that is, like, it depends, right? Um, and so, basically, what I'm trying to say is that since you know it depends, to then say this is what happens, that just shows you that you're a dumbass and you're just like a monkey, right? Clashing, whatever the fuck they're called, fucking plates together, making a noise, whatever the fuck they're called. You're an idiot. And the reason why is because what you should say is, well, according to, we know that the variables make the the line or what we're using act differently. So based on X particular components of the rope, then we have what we have. But he's saying what he says. Watch.
Whether he's at rest or he's moving, it doesn't matter. So even here, the wave will travel forward with the same speed, and since Einstein is also moving at the same speed, unlike the bullet, look, Einstein and the wave move together, which means it'll appear frozen for Einstein.
Any detailed motions or explanation, rather?
Because Einstein was on this. Now imagine Einstein is
Watch.
running
Listen.
at some speed and he makes the wave again on the string. What will be the speed of the wave this time? Would it end? Let's Einstein standing beside a string. Now if Einstein makes a wave, that wave goes forward on the string. Now imagine Einstein is running at some speed
Wait
and
for
he
it.
makes the wave again on the string. What will be the speed of the wave this time? Would it change because Einstein was moving? No, the speed of the wave on the string depends on the properties of the string, like how heavy it is, how tight it is, what is the material, and so many other things. It does not depend upon whether the source, Einstein, whether he's at rest or he's moving. It doesn't matter. So even here, the wave will travel forward with the same speed, and since Einstein is also moving at the same speed, unlike the bullet, look, Einstein and the wave move together, which means.
But depending on what it's made of, it might fall flat. It might whip faster than ever. You know what I'm saying? It depends. But because it's made out of whatever it's made out of, okay. I'll click that because I want to watch that. But I didn't mean to.
Means it'll appear frozen for Einstein.
So, because of the details of it, it'll appear as it does. Anyways.
Since waves don't have inertia, we can use waves to test it out. So let's do that. So this time, let's imagine Einstein's car is moving at the speed of sound.
I just want to say, I've been recording it for 9 minutes, but apparently my internet crashed. Even for a split second, and then my chat is at 9 minutes, right? But my OBS says that I never lost internet, but for some reason Twitch restarted. I've only lost 0.2, 186 frames, basically, which is like 3 or 4 seconds. But apparently that was enough for a restart for Twitch. But anyways,
sound. And Einstein makes some sound. He shouts it. That'll also travel at the speed of sound, because just like with the string, this speed does not depend upon Einstein's motion. And now, for sure, both of these would travel together on that is moving waves to test it out. So let's do that. So this time let's rush Frozen for Einstein. So since waves don't have inertia, we can use waves to test it out. So let's do that. So this time let's imagine Einstein's car is moving at the speed of sound. And Einstein makes some sound. He shouts it. That'll also travel at the speed of sound, because just like with the string, this speed does not depend upon Einstein's motion. And now, for sure, both of these would travel together. So let's have a look at it. And that's exactly what happens. Both of them are traveling together, which means from Einstein's perspective, look, that wave is frozen. He will see sound frozen, but we know sound doesn't get frozen when you're at rest, confirming that Einstein is moving. What do you got to say about that, Einstein?
what do you got to say about that, Einstein? No, what do you got to say about that? What was your name again? You saying Kaz or something? Float head physics, whatever the fuck your name was. It's not Einstein that you're arguing with. It's you're acting like you're Einstein. Stop stealing his thunder, you fucking prick.
And Einstein says, indeed, that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, that's kind of the point, you fucking prick. But again, it's not you making the statement. It's Einstein.
But Einstein says, hold on, buddy. That doesn't mean I'm at motion. I'm still at rest. Wait, what? You just saw sound to be frozen. That doesn't happen when you are at rest. Einstein says, allow me to explain. He says, I am at rest, but there is a wind going backwards at the speed of sound. And air is going backwards at the speed of sound, and sound is trying to go forward.
Okay, so already your argument. Okay, this is perfect. So perfect because I was gonna end it anyways. But he fucked up because he's saying Einstein said these things, but as you just described, it all depends, right? It depends on the what's called like the material depends basically. And because we know what the air is, we can go as fast as the air. That's what the speed of sound is. It's through air, basically, right? It's all relative to that, basically, according to Einstein. But the point is, you're just regurgitating bullshit because you read about it. And you're acting like you know, and you're acting like you understand. And the problem is, you don't know enough, and you should shut the fuck up and go back to reading, you fucking idiot. Because, again, you're lucky I found it, so I can call it out so that kids can they learn, but they're only learning like 10% of the actual everything involved because you're an idiot, basically. But again, the point is, we know the properties of air. So if you change the properties of air, which you just did, then sound, of course, will be altered because you're altering it. No shit, you fucking dipshit, right? And the point is, like, to act like this whole thing is still held together, as flimsy as it was to begin with, it's bullshit. And then for him to be like, oh, Einstein's an idiot, and I'm arguing against Einstein, and to be like, ha, Einstein, you fucking idiot, this is the truth. But it's Einstein that's saying it to you, and he's idiot-ifying you, right? Basically. And for you to ruin that, like, no, like, I'm not gonna have you stealing a thunder, right? And again, because I don't have any arrogance, no egotisticalness in me at all, despite my friends all giving me that quality. Basically, I tell people this all the time. Like, I said the word nigger. That doesn't mean the context of however you want to take it, or however blah blah blah. It's just a word. There's no context in the word, right? I've spoken to many AIs. I've spoken to a few people about it. There's no context, right? Like my sister, for example, it doesn't matter what it is. She says like it. I'm okay, fine. If you don't like it, then you don't like it. That's just personally on you. Fine, whatever. But no, that's on you, not because of the word, right? So we're now moving from what's called that's a bad word to it's just you're being an asshole, right? One way or another, that's fine. Do what you want to do, but understand like the reason why, right? You are. Like, at the end of the day, I'm sorry to say, but you are. I'm not here to fucking facts don't care about your feelings, guy, right? So, anyways, the point is, if you define it, it's defined as such. Until it's defined, it doesn't matter. And what's it called? Words are just words until you issue them in a certain context. They aren't born with that context. Much like my friends want to say, I'm arrogant, I'm egotistical. I found out in reality, the reason why my friends and me, we didn't get along is because of one friend. Now I know for sure because, yeah, they used to talk shit. I found out. Now I think about it, but anyways, because of that person and the shitty person, I never thought about it. I never fucking realized it until I don't think about it very much. But anyways, the point is like they all felt a certain way and they all perceived a certain thing, even though that actually isn't the reality. I actually have no arrogance. I actually have no ego, and the whole reason why I'm arrogant and egotistical is because you're trying to lace me with it. Basically, I forgot what I was watching. It's Destiny, for example, and Destiny, he has confidence, right? And that's why people think he's something else. I personally think that confidence is or it's misdisplayed, and somebody else should have that confidence, right? But he has confidence, and that's why he's able to say things like, what was it? He was talking in a debate and as she tries to sidestep the argument, and she's like, "Oh, is it about a woman? Do you hate women?" And so Destiny, being his confident self, says, "I only hate women 50% of the time. 50% of the time," and that makes some of the audience laugh because, like, that's reasonable. To be honest with you, I only hate about my audience half the time. And the reason why is because the other half of the time I love them. Alright? That's obviously true. Every single time I encounter somebody, it's either love or hate. Right? There's a fact. That's a fact. At the end of the day, that's an undisputed fact, basically, right? You understand? But the point was just confidence and blah blah blah. But yeah, you don't decide what it is; it decides what it is. So I know now why so many people had shitty lives is because there's one person. But anyways, yeah, that's how life works. That's unfortunately how life works, right? I should have been the best thing in the world. I never thought about it. I went back to save this person, right? I was the only reason why this person existed. And because of that person, like, my world got fucked over. So, there you go. That's same thing. Thank God I'm not a woman, right? But if I was a woman, I wouldn't be friends with him. I told it to his face too. I was like, if I was a lady, I wouldn't be here right now. I'm here because I'm a dude, and because I have nowhere else to go. Right? I had nowhere to go. I was chased into being with him as a friend, by the way. But I was chased like for my friend S, and then my friend M. I was only friends with them because being at home was hell, and I couldn't be other places. So that's my story. That's my excuse. But it's valid and true. It's reality. Anyways, this guy is full of shit. He's an arrogant, egotistical fucking idiot. He's trying to make it seem like he's arguing with Einstein, but he's actually using Einstein's arguments, and he's acting like they're his. And again, I call that stealing thunder, and it seems like that's all he's doing, like the whole way through. And then here again, just to complete the thought and close it out, he's saying that sound acts a certain way based off of data, right? And based on that data, we know how sound's going to act. And based on all of that, he moved with sound. But if Einstein changes sound to be something else, then it's something obviously, duh. Anybody with the brain can see that. I'm curious. Next point. I'm just curious. Out of curiosity, we'll continue. I just want to know what's the next thing he says or what's the next fuck up. Because we're seeing now firsthand that this guy's a fucking idiot. And he's a liar and a faker. And if he ever becomes a doctor, I would hate to have him as my doctor. But let's go.
That air at the speed of sound forward, but because of the air, it's not able to go, and that's why it's frozen. So the reason the sound is frozen is not because I am moving, Mahesh. He's saying it's because there is a wind that's going backwards. That's what's making it frozen.
Mesh. So understand, Einstein is actually both characters here. He is the good and the bad, and this is a commonplace. But why you keep putting yourself as the good guy is why I'm like, fuck you, Mesh.
It's very similar to how